Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back, or welcome to another Bangs audio review. And thank you for still being here, even if you weren't a big fan of my rant yesterday. Looks like I actually lost less than 10 subscribers from that, I guess. So anyway, thanks to y'all for still being here. I do appreciate it very much. You know, I love you. No matter who you are. No matter what your politics are. You're all my people. I'm your person. Alright, let's get back to IMs. Enough of this stuff. Today we're going to do the TRN Azure Dragon. Azure Dragon. Blue. Azure. Blue. You know. Where to start? Nice case. How about specs and Unbox? You're looking at 32 ohm impedance on this 14.6 millimeter nano diaphragm planar magnetic driver. It also is a 108 decibel sensitivity, and from what I can tell, it's 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz on the frequency response. Has a very interesting graph that we'll take a look at. In the box, the unbox on this is really quite nice, and you know, it is a plus $200 set, $210 to be exact, when not on sale. You would expect to have a nice unboxing experience, and the TRN Azure Dragon does not disappoint. Nice little piece of paper there to cover. I am set here. Underneath that, you have a really nice selection of tips. Normal and wide bore in silicone, and a couple of sizes of your foams, should you be so inclined. I typically not. So the top ones here are called base ear tips, and then we have like, you know, T-tips, which I was so happy. T-tips will be like your balanced or your reference tips. If you're not familiar with the TRNT ear tips, you should be. They are inexpensive and they are phenomenal. So comfortable, very neutral. What do these base guys look like? So the base ones are wider bore. You know, this is so, it's just so odd because I feel like some people say base ear tips are narrow bore and some people say they're wider bore, and or vocal ear tips are, yeah, I guess maybe it depends on the IM. Sorry, I was mistaken. The base tips are narrow bore, which is, I believe that's kind of what they're supposed to be. So no complaints on the ear tips. Ear tip selection is really quite nice. Put that back in the right way. Then you get your terminations for the red chain cable that comes with them in 3.5, 2.5 balanced, and 4.4 balanced. So even though this unboxing isn't exactly grand, it does have some very nice accessories with it, which you would expect and kind of demand at $210. I should note that Harrison from Science Audio was kind enough to offer me, well, he wanted to give them to me, but they're not quite set up that way yet, because it's not a Tipsy brand. TRN's obviously their own thing. But he did extend a nice 50% discount, reviewer discount, in exchange for a fair and honest review, which is what exactly what I'm going to give you, as always. So that was a nice, you know, any little bit helps, especially when you're the owner of, oh god, I don't even want to count anymore. How many IMs at this point? Too many. But that's all right, because you know, it's good. It's content. It's good for everybody, including me, building my sort of resume of experience on this stuff. So there's your case. It actually reminds me of a couple other cases. EPZ K5 case. A little smaller. And then the Canera Hodor case, which is actually a little bit closer to the EPZ case. That one's bigger. Interesting. Just thought it was kind of fun to show that. So yes, this is a very nice case. Inside here, we have a couple of different things. We got some tuning nozzles. We've got the 3.5 millimeter termination, so I was able to, oh, there's more, oh, nice, more divinous velvet tips in here. Happy day. Yeah, so there are 3 different tuning nozzles that you can employ. Transparency for more high frequency, reference, which is the balanced version, and then atmospheric immersion. I'm not sure what that means. I will say this: I did graph them all, but insofar as testing went, it was just on the reference because I didn't really feel like either one of the other ones were better, at least not to my ears. It did feel like the atmospheric immersion was, and it showed on the graph, ear gain was a little bit more intense, and I didn't think it really needed that much energy, so stuck with the reference tips on that, and that was just fine. Now I want to know where the other ear tip's in there. Okay, whatever. So I was able to test it using the red chain cable. You guys, I don't know if you're all familiar with it, but it is a very nice modular cable. They do include this on a lot of their sets, not even like, the real expensive ones. There's some, actually, I think the Conch did not have the red chain on it. I think that was sort of a more generic, but it was still modular, which was very nice. So the only not nice cable that I've run into from TRN was with the fairly old VX Pro, the original, not the Pro Plus that just came out. That cable I threw literally in the trash, which might have been extreme, but it just felt like garbage and didn't really sound very good either from my experience. Much better with the different cable on it, for sure. It did kind of force me into buying a couple of QDC cables, because this is QDC, right? Yes. So there you go. QDC at the connection point there, for good or for bad. But, the nice thing is about this is the red chain's a nice cable, like I said, so you don't really have to cable swap on it. I don't think that that's something you have to worry about. But hey, if you've got other QDC cables kicking around that you like better, you can always hook them on. So, but it's good to know. Good to know that. I'm just not really happy with the headlamp anymore, so the glare and stuff, so I don't use it, but I will break it out here, and hopefully this is going to get in the picture for you. Trying to up a little bit. There we go. Okay, there we go. This has a beautiful Dragon scale type of faceplate on it. You can see it's like semi-open back, but I don't really notice a lot of noise leaking out of it, really, so I'm not sure if it's actually that much of an open back. It's probably just the design part of it, but they're sharp. Sharp as in look really nice. And the build quality is, it's got to be this, feels CNC aluminum. I wonder if it says this here. Let's see. Precision metal craftsmanship. High precision 5-axis CNC machining. So there you go. And it does. It feels really super premium. It looks really super nice. And the fit is really super comfortable. So there you go. There's the trifecta. No comfort issues with this whatsoever. I listened to them for, well, when I was able to, hours at a time. Not a lot this week. It was kind of a rough week in different ways. Like, it was kind of, going a little backwards in the recovery. Pain started to really get bad. My poor kiddo is home with, like, I don't even know what the hell it was. It might have been COVID for all I know, but he was home from school all week with fever and cough, and so it was just kind of hard to like get focused on it. And then I had my little tantrum yesterday, which you guys had to put up with. So, but we're back to it. We're back to it now. There you go. Unbox, specs, build, fit, finish. Okay, into Sonic impressions, and I will immediately bring up the graph. And I did do some comps as promised. I comped it with the Let's Sure S12 Pro and the S12 2024. So I will let you know what the results, at least from my end of things, were with those comps. Graph, here it is. Okay, so the graph is maybe, I don't know, a little alarming for people. People that are fans of, a nice amount of bass. People that think that looks pretty effed up. I get it. I understand. Like, it's kind of like a little shocking, but you have to understand that the IEC 711 measurement rig that I use, um, this part here is really, it's anybody's guess as to whether, how accurate that actually is. I can tell you it doesn't sound like a friggin' mountain range. It doesn't sound like it's all chopped up and spiky and spicy and hot and hollow and missing. It doesn't sound like that. It's very, very coherent in the mid to upper treble. It just is. It's just planar, so it has the sheen, shine, the shimmer. It's kind of old school in that way, but just like the S12 2024, and unlike the S12 Pro, it is not fatiguing in the treble at all. But you have to like planar magnetic treble to like it, because it is not the more modern style. The more modern style where it just seems to be, both in bass and treble, a little bit more dynamic driver-like in that respect. This is straight up planar. So fans of planar are going to love how it's tuned. The other issue is you might look over here at the bass, and yeah, no, it didn't have a ton of some sub-bass rumble, but it did pick up the drops in Agony by Slaughter to Prevail. Those are the ones. That's literally, I think, the lowest frequency that I've got in any of my test tracks. And I say this because probably 70% of the sets that I've reviewed just don't pick it up or barely pick it up. This one was where it was sort of barely picked it up. Like, it was there. Like, it was there. Supposed to be there. But was not prominent. So I would say a little rolled off in the sub bass. Just a little bit. The mid bass, you guys are looking at this like, okay, SPL, it was 87.01 at the high point and the peak of the ear gain. And then over here, the peak of the mid bass, you're looking at like 83.1. This is why you can't trust the graphs, because, guys, like, honestly, this set doesn't sound anything, in some ways, anything like the graph is showing. Like, it doesn't. It's got plenty of mid bass, plenty. I mean, like, really, just really nice, satisfying, full, resonant mid bass. Now, does it go down into your chest? No, and we'll get into what the head stage or sound stage is kind of like as well. No, it doesn't like go down into your chest, or what do I call it, testicle bass. It's not testicle bass. It's not like that. This is not a Fat Freak Deuce or or a Canary Celeste Relentless, like, or for that matter, what is it, the Adonis, the new Adonis. Not that kind of bass cannon. Okay, it's just not. But there's a hell of a lot more there than what that looks like. That's all I can say. I mean, it's just, you're gonna have to trust me. There's a lot more mid bass than the graph would indicate, and the treble is a lot smoother than the graph would indicate. But here's what really, really sets this guy apart. This set has the widest soundstage that I think I've ever experienced in a set of IAMs. And it's not real deep, like I said. It doesn't go real deep. It's got good height, and it's got like good sort of front to back depth, but it doesn't go down. It's like mostly front to back, way the heck out here, and a little bit of height. What that brings to you is just, again, it's a different kind of immersive experience, but it is. And it took me a minute to like kind of adjust to it. Like I was kind of like, what? And then I threw the really good track from Tool, Chocolate Chip Trip off of Fear Inoculum, which is whether you like Tool or not, it's a drum solo, basically, or a drum track, drum and other percussion instruments. So there's like no singing, no guitar, no bass guitar. It's just Danny Carey hitting everything that God ever made on Earth. Humans invented, whatever you want to call it. It's a really cool track because it does really test your IEM's head stage or sound stage, because shit's all over the place. I mean, I don't know how else to say. I mean, it's literally all over the place. So if you've got a set like this, you really get to experience that. And along those lines as well, like super, super good detail retrieval. Like very, very good. And the only thing I haven't talked about really yet is the mids, and the mids on these are slightly warm, but they're very clear, and my favorite word, engaging, and lovely. So vocals are great, you know? They ate up metal and spit it out, like everything I could throw at it, even Archspire, which is to date the heaviest band that I've ever heard. Thank you. Was it Rogue? Rogue, I think you sent me that as a suggestion. Anyway, so yeah, thank you. I think it was Rogue Gorilla that sent that to me. Those guys are sick. Super, super heavy stuff. Super, you know, like more of the grunting type of vocals, but coherent somehow. Like you can actually hear what the guy is saying. So many bands that have that style of vocal, you can't understand anything. This guy you can actually hear. So that's pretty cool. That was definitely a good suggestion. If you're into the heavier side of metal, it's about the heaviest that I've heard to date. Yeah, no problem for the Azure Dragon. No problem at all. And then you go all the way to like the other end of things, and I think it's Chiriro or Chiriro from Billie Eilish. Just really kind of soft, smooth, sort of EDM, kind of little poppy track where she's just very subtle in her vocal inflections, and no problem. Sounded perfect, natural, perfectly natural, and just nice with these guys. And there's a lot of synth bass there too, sort of giving the song a backbone or a foundation, and it was all there. I just shrugged, by the way, in case you can't see that. Because thankfully I'm on this side of the camera again and plan on staying there for a while. Yeah, they was there anything? I'm trying to think if there's anything that they struggled with. No, not really. They're a pretty good all-around set, honestly, for fans of the planar. Okay, just keep that in mind. If you don't like planars, this isn't going to change your mind. The S12 2024 might, the S08 might, the RDT10 might. These won't. They're just, yeah, they're a planar magnetic set through and through. The DNA is there. But there's a nice amount of bass to them. A little bit more modern tuning on the bass, I would say. Yeah, because it's pretty thick. It's pretty good, and of course the decay is great, and it's fast and resolves quickly because it's a planar. So, but more bass there than definitely than the graph indicates, and more than I was expecting, and more than enough to keep me happy. So we'll put it there. As far as our comps go, it is, I would say, the best sort of way to describe it is that it lands literally kind of just directly between the S12 Pro and, hopefully this is not the S08. It is. Of course it is. The S12 2024, that's where it lands, right between those two. So not as hot and spicy up top as the S12 Pro, but definitely as much, if not more, bass than the S12 Pro has. Here we go. Comp sets here. But not as a modern or, silky smooth in the treble as the S12 2024 is. I think the thing that really surprised me the most about this set is that when I was doing an A/B with the 2024 S12, it was not a step down in quality. Slightly different tuning style, yes, for sure. More traditional planar magnetic tuning style than the S12 2024, but not a huge drop off, because the S12 2024 right now is it's pretty much, unless something weird happens between now and the end of the year, unless something crazy comes out, you know, and I might not even get that set. I don't know, I might miss it. But this has got the lead for my personal IM of the year, and still has that lead. Surprised me how close these guys were to them. Surprised me. But these I like better because they are tuned more to my style, more to my preference, and they do everything so well. Yeah, the only knock I would give on the Azure Dragon is that because it's got that shimmer and shine in the treble, it does seem like in the very, very upper end of things, just slightly unnatural, but not like BA, like unnatural, like how, you know how BAs can get really kind of like hissy up there and metallic sounding. That doesn't happen with the Azure Dragon, so don't worry about that. It's just got that shimmer and shine and sparkle. If you like that, you're gonna love these. They're really, really good. You know, I can't knock them for the price. I was thinking going into this review that I was gonna knock them for the price. I was just gonna be like, yeah, they're really good, but I don't know, you know, $210, kind of expensive. I can't say that. I mean, would I certainly, yes, buy the S12 2024 over them? Yeah, head to head, I'm gonna take the S12 2024 every day. But damn, if these weren't so close, I mean, just really close. And I don't have a problem recommending them for their RRP, their regular retail price. I think they're well worth it. One of the better planar magnetic sets that I've had the pleasure of listening to. On the S12 Pro, yeah, it was not really close. Just because of the spiciness and the kind of heat that the S12 Pro does have a tendency to display in the mid to upper treble. They were about on equal footing. No, I'm not even going to say that. The bass is better on the Azure Dragon. There was just about everything about the Azure Dragon was just like a notch better than the S12 Pro. A notch smoother, a notch fuller, a notch richer, a notch just more elegant. So, and detailed, and this is a detail beast. The Azure Dragon is a detail beast as well, and that soundstage is gonna it's gonna freak you out when you first listen to it. You're gonna be like, what the heck, as my son likes to say, what the heck? But it's cool once you adjust to it. You're gonna love it. It's really, really neat stuff. So yeah, they get a full recommend. They're not getting my top recommend, you know, because they are over $200, and there is a lot of competition out there. And I still do like the 2024 better, but it was closer than I thought it was going to be. Honestly, it really was. So cool. Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back at this, doing what I really like to do, love to do, to be honest. Not trying to get involved in stuff that I shouldn't be talking about on an audio review channel anyway. So again, I will say thank you. And I'm just gonna leave it with this, and I'm not gonna say any more. The reason that I was triggered was because, like I said at the beginning of the video, you're all my people. And I care about and I love all of you. And I don't want to see bad things happen, and I don't want to see anything being done or said that can contribute to bad things happening to the people that I care about, which means all of you. So, I'm gonna leave it at that. That's it. I may take the video down. I don't know. I might leave it up. Probably gonna leave it up for a while. But that was it. That's not happening again. I said what I have to say. And most of all of you, like 99% of y'all, stuck around. So thank you. All right. That's going to do it for the day. Be careful. Be safe. Please be nice. Love y'all. Nothing but peace to you. See you real soon for the Yukimi.